that most people never noticed them at all. Her name was Era. She wasn't famous. She wasn't rich. She wasn't the best student in her class or the loudest voice in the room. She was the kind of girl teachers often forgot to call on. She noticed when smiles were forced. She noticed when silence meant something was wrong. While others were busy talking, she was busy seeing. While others were focused on themselves, she was focused on the small, almost invisible details of the lives around her. This quiet observation was her superpower, one that was about to change her small town in ways no one could have ever predicted. When an old neighbor struggled to carry groceries up the steep hill to his home, Era would suddenly appear as if from nowhere. She'd take the bags with a small, knowing smile and carry them to his doorstep, then vanish before he could even form the words to thank her. When a classmate, flustered and embarrassed, realized they'd forgotten their lunch, a simple sandwich would mysteriously appear on their desk during the break. There was never a name, never a note, just the quiet gift of nourishment. She saw the exhaustion etched on her teacher's face at the end of a long week. The next morning, the teacher would walk into a classroom that was already cleaned, with the chalkboards wiped and the chairs neatly arranged. People in the town would often say things like, "Well, someone must have helped," or "An angel must have left this here." They accepted these small kindnesses as happy accidents or anonymous gestures, never connecting the dots, never asking who was behind them. And Era liked it that way. For her, the act of helping was the reward itself. Attention would only complicate it. It was pure, simple, and direct a solution to a problem. Nothing more, nothing less. She wasn't seeking validation. She was just mending the small tears she saw in the fabric of her community, one quiet stitch at a time. Some people mistook her quietness for weakness. They saw her solitude and assumed she was shy, or perhaps aloof and uninterested. Others thought she simply did uncare about the social dynamics of school or the chatter of the town. They were all profoundly wrong. Era cared deeply, perhaps more deeply than anyone else. She just didn't care loudly. Her empathy wasn't a performance. It was a silent guiding principle. She held a simple belief, one that she never spoke aloud but lived by every single day. If help comes with too much noise, sometimes it stops being help and becomes a show. So she stayed in the background, a silent guardian of her community's well-being, watching, listening, and always, always helping. She was a constant, invisible force for good. And then one cold, unforgiving winter, a storm rolled in and everything changed. The town was about to learn just how powerful her quiet brand of help truly was. A sudden, violent storm hit the town with a fury no one had anticipated. The wind howled like a wounded animal, and the rain fell in blinding sheets. Within an hour, the power grid failed, plunging every home and street into a deep, disorienting darkness. Shops that had been bustling with evening customers slammed their doors shut. Panic, cold and sharp, began to spread like a virus. In the chaos, an elderly woman, Mrs. Gable, was trapped inside her dark, cold house, her phone line dead. A few blocks away, a small child, separated from his mother, stood crying and shivering outside a locked grocery store on the main road. Now a rushing stream of slick, dark water. A man slipped and fell, his ankle twisting beneath him with a sickening crack. People shouted into the darkness. They argued with their neighbors. They called for officials who were overwhelmed and unreachable. But Era didn't wait. She didn't hesitate. She pulled on her waterproof jacket, grabbed a flashlight, and stepped out into the storm, while others were paralyzed by the noise of the crisis. She was moved by the quiet signals of suffering she had always been tuned to. She guided Mrs. Gable, step by careful step, through the debris-strewn path to a neighbor's house that had a generator. She found the crying child, wrapped her own warm jacket around his small shoulders. She then helped the injured man, supporting his weight as they limped slowly and painfully through the flooded streets to the town's small clinic. There were no cameras. There was no applause. The next day, as a pale sun rose over the storm-battered town, people began to emerge, taking stock of the damage. Mrs. Gable's son told everyone, "Someone helped my mother get to safety last night. I don't know who it was, but they saved her. She kept him warm. No one else even stopped." The injured man, his ankle now bandaged, told the doctor, "If it weren't for her, I don't know what would have happened. She just appeared and helped me get here." Slowly, piece by piece, the stories connected, the descriptions matched. The same calm demeanor, the same quiet efficiency. The invisible girl had become the most visible person in town, not through words, but through her unwavering silent action. When people finally approached her, their voices filled with gratitude and awe. She simply smiled politely. They thanked her, they praised her, they called her a hero. But Era didn't change. She didn't become loud. She didn't start helping to earn more praise or seek out the spotlight that was now offered to her. To the heartfelt thanks, her response was always the same, delivered with a quiet sincerity. "I just did what needed to be done." And in that simple, unassuming statement, the town learned a profound lesson. Not all helpers wear badges or uniforms. Not all heroes stand on a podium. They are the ones who keep going, day after day, whether anyone is watching or not. If your kindness feels small and insignificant in a loud and demanding world, remember, Era, it doesn't have to. The world moves forward because of them. Sometimes, the greatest, most lasting difference is made by someone who never asked to be noticed at all. Thank you for watching.